let's go ahead and move to our next topic. I want to ask the question here. This is a tough question because this got the community a little bit in a little bit of a stir, I guess you could say, because the Jazzinc Batmobile was announced a little while ago now, and it retails for $14.99. And there's payment plans. You get a signature from Yost, and of course, I think it said his father signed it too, from what I recall. So this Batmobile supposedly is more accurate than the Hot Toys version. That's what I know Jazzinc has claimed. And I think everyone has pretty much been on board with that. Like, you know, it's a very accurate, very substantial Batman 1989 Batmobile. That said, you can see the price is about a little over double what the Hot Toys cost. And for the longest time, the Hot Toys was considered an absolute grail. Now we have a Jazzinc option. Now we have a Hot Toys option, which I can share on the screen as well. But Zach, I want to ask you here. There's obviously two very different price points here, maybe two different markets that they're going for. I'm not sure exactly, but if you're a diehard 89 Batman fan, I don't know. It is a tough call. What do you think, Zach? Who comes out on top in this one?
I think the collectors come out on top. There's two choices, so
that's a good choice. Yeah.
I think Jazzinc makes really great stuff. Don't get me wrong. You know, I think for years they've been making things that collectors have never thought would be possible. And I think it's going to be real interesting to see how this turns out, because I want to say of all the vehicles that they've done, this is the first time where there's an actual like one-to-one competition for, you know, this product, right? So with the Batman Batmobile, the muscle car, Hot Toys kind of teased it, but they never actually, you know, solicited anything. So this will be the first one. One thing I would say is it's my understanding that Jazz doesn't have a full prototype yet. I think it's either just the exterior or like either that's the movie shot or just the exterior, but I know in their group that they've kind of said that they're working on getting all that stuff done. I have no doubt that it probably will be more accurate. I don't know if it's twice the cost more accurate for me. Like I think things at that scale, I think there's a difference of something like 10 centimeters. And I think when you get to that size, I think things can certainly feel right and not necessarily need to be right. But for me, I would say if I was interested in one of these, I would probably go Sideshow with Sideshow for the Hot Toys version. Just because, you know, if I need to ship something back, if there's something broken, shipping something to California is probably much cheaper than shipping it back to the Netherlands.
Right.
And so, you know, I not that I don't think Jazz would take care of a customer that had an issue, but I just think Sideshow and dealing with any issues with the vehicle would probably be much easier dealing with someone in the same country. And yeah, I think it's going to come out good, though. I think Yost has said they're going to do that sort of like black pearlescent like beetle color, and I think Hot Toys is just that matte or satin black. Yeah, I think it's just so expensive, and you know, when they announced it, I want to say Hot Toys hadn't put theirs out yet. So now that there is that cheaper version, you know, I hope the collectors are able to pick the price point and the level of accuracy that they feel fits their budget and their collection. So I think it's great. I think it's great that we have choices, and you know, it's going to be real interesting to see, though, you know, when you put them both together, what the quality looks like 1-to-1 with the new Hot Toys versus the Jazzinc one. I think it's going to be real interesting to see.
Yeah, and we got some, Zach, you're right on the money, bro. And we got some really good comments. Like I know Jeff mentioned the Jazzinc is remote controlled and power connected, also bigger and more accurate. It could be a centerpiece. Like Carlos mentioned, it's limited, and you know, that could be a smaller batch than Hot Toys, and the price does reflect that. So I think, and we got 6 scale saying for $1,500 you can buy 2 Batmobiles from Hot Toys. So this is why this is a really interesting question. And I think, Zach, I'm with you, bro. The consumer wins, the collector wins, because you have so many good options now. You could get this Batman hot from Hot Toys, the 89 Batmobile, and it can be absolutely beautiful for $700. Or if you want to go all in and you're a super fan, you pay $1,500. You know, but dude, I don't know. It's a really tough one for me. I have no connection to this Batmobile, so it's a lot harder for me to pick, because I don't really notice the differences as much, because I've only watched the film once, so you know, I can't really tell. If it was, you know, something like the Tumbler or something a little more iconic to me, then yeah, I might be able to go in on this one. But with Kiko, what do you? Yeah, sorry, Zach. What were you gonna say?
Sorry, when Jeff is saying it's remote controlled, I don't know if he means like the drivetrain, like you can actually drive it. I don't think I've heard
Someone
that.
mentioned that being a possibility at one point, but I don't know
I
if
think
that's going to be the
Yost has
case.
said that if they get enough orders, they might add like a smoke effect to it. But
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen it claimed to be drivable, unless you mean like the lights, you can control them with the remote, then probably. But I would say, you know, you could get the same functionality with a smart device, like a smart plug, and then a
Right.
dummy battery set for probably like $20, and then you can basically have your smart speaker turn on and off your Batmobile whenever you want. So
That's
to me, that's neat, but it's not like I wouldn't just get it just because you can control it with the remote. That's
right. Not the end of
not
the
that
world.
big
Yeah.
a deal. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry,
Okay.
Kiko.
Yeah, Kiko, where do you fall on this one, bro? I know you're thinking about picking up a Batmobile. It sounds like where you at?
Yeah, last week I would suppose that the only two vehicles that would be in my collection would be the Ecto One and the DeLorean.
Mm-hmm.
Until I saw that Hot Toys was going to make the '89 Batmobile reissued, essentially. So with that being said, is that it did not mean enough to me to pay $1,500 for one from Jazzinc. It just didn't. But the price point for me said, okay, now I can have a 6-skill iconic vehicle to add to the collection because that price point makes sense. The thing that doesn't make sense to me is, I guess, the gatekeeping that so many people in the community do, thinking that one is better than the other, which it isn't. It's whatever one you want to put in your collection. It doesn't matter. Like, I do not look at you and say, wow, what a waste of money that you spent so much money on something that you're going to drive around. Are you really going to drive around a remote controlled car that's $1,500? I mean, I could say that. Or I could look at you and look down on you and be like, are you really going to get something that's that inaccurate for that much money? I mean, you can do any of it. You can play devil's advocate either side.
Right.
And so the question is which one do you want, collector? Is it a budget issue? And if so, then get you a pretty damn good collectible for $700, throw it on your shelf, and damn, there you go. My only thing is to here's someone speaking from experience for something with Jazzinc. Okay. I own Jazzinc things. Okay. I'm not as bought into the hype. Okay. I don't have any of the vehicles. I bought the Iron Scavenger, the Vulture. Okay. Which the big wings. It's their first figure, if you want to call it that. I was not impressed. I know it was their first one, but I thought it was very fragile, very fragile. And I was like, why are so many little pieces breaking on this thing? Why do I have to worry about gluing stuff? I don't want to have to worry about that. If I'm and they're like, well, if you pay, if whenever people talk about the money that they spend on stuff, it better be fucking perfect to be, that much money. Yeah, it should be. I should not have anything breaking on a $500 wing, essentially, with the Vulture. So I worry about paying $1,500 for something that could break, whether it be the Falcon cockpit, whether it be this Batmobile, whether it be another Batmobile. The Snowspeeder, that's just too big to put somewhere for me. That's
Right.
awesome if that's your display and you can work that out. To me, the stuff with Jazzinc is that you have to have a plan in place for where you're going to put these things. What also drives me, this is a little bit of a rabbit trail, what drives me insane is the people on the Jazzinc webpage, and they're saying, TIE Fighter win, Naboo Starfighter win. I was like, do you realize how fucking big these things are for like 6 scale? You are not going to order that. You are not going to be allowed to have that in your mom's basement by any means. So what
Kiko,
are you doing?
This is a 3 3/4.
I know.
And it's like 26, 27 inches at 3 3/4.
Yeah.
The 6 scale would be like 6. Yeah, 6 could be fucking huge.
Yeah,
that's like,
right. It would take like a whole room.
Car or a go-kart. What are you doing?
A go-kart.
It's like, why don't you go ahead and just put it on a nice coffee table? I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So all the people that say, oh, Jazzinc will make our dreams come true. Maybe, if that's the way you want it to be. But for me, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. I support the people that want to do that. That's awesome, man. If you got the display space for it and you want the go-to definitive collectible, when someone comes up to my room and they're looking at everything, they're not going to be like, oh, no smoke coming out of the back. I don't think it's that cool.
Smoke. Could you imagine?
Yeah, like, oh, wait, I got it now. Beep.
Yeah,
And then
beep.
then
Oh, there's the
goes on.
smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, shit,
cool.
I forgot
Now
to
it's
refill
cool.
it.
Yeah. So that's my thing, is that I will,
right.
because of the price point, be getting the Hot Toys one just because it makes sense now. I can actually own that one because I was not going to pay like $3,000 for the old Hot Toys one, and I wasn't going to pay $1,500 for the Jazzinc one. So this is a perfect situation for me that I will capitalize on. This will be my third vehicle once Carlos sells me his Ecto One.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna happen. And what I'll say before we wrap this topic is, like Zach had mentioned, I've never bought a Jazzinc product, so I don't know about where the quality lies on customer service, but I know where it lies with Sideshow. So I know for a fact if I buy a Hot Toys vehicle or something from Sideshow, for example, my Chromando, I put the rifle strap into the Chromando and it snapped off. So I messaged Sideshow and they were like, all right, we'll give you 3 options, $40, or you can return it for a refund, or you can exchange it. And I was like, I'll exchange it. And I sent it back to them and they're sending me another one. So, I know where.
That's a great peace of mind,
Right. That's why, honestly, that's mostly where I buy things now. I pretty much mostly buy things from Sideshow, unless it's third party or something. I buy it from Kit, or if I want a Hot Toy early, I'll buy it from somewhere else, or maybe someone else. But I would say that overall, this having that peace of mind with Sideshow is pretty nice for U.S. buyers.
Yeah,
I mean,
I will say Jazz has learned from every product that they've made. I know 2 or 3 people that had I think it was the BVS or the Justice League Batmobile, and the axles on theirs, I think like the weight of the resin caused it to bow. And so I think on the newer vehicles that they use like a different type of support system. And I haven't heard any issues with that. I know with the 66, I've seen quite a few comments that people had, different issues. Overall, I think they were happy with it, but I think at this kind of price point, I hope that they tighten it up going forward. But Yoast, excellent customer service as well. But for me personally, again, like if I'm in the United States, it might cost me, 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks to send something back to Sideshow, whereas sending something back to the Netherlands, if necessary,
good luck on that.
Expensive. So,
right. But like you said, Zach, I have heard Yoast's customer service is good.
Yeah, he's great. So.
Yeah. So nothing wrong with that. I just know Sideshow's who I know, and I just know they always pretty much take care of me if something goes wrong. So I like that. So personally, but anyway, so guys, let's wrap that topic. We have a couple super chats here to get to. First one being Batman Collectibles. Thank you so much, kind sir. Thank you guys for the kind and generous super chats. Very nice of you. $4.99 super chat. I have the 66 Batmobile. It's a very nice piece. Definitely had quite a few flaws, and I received a much later batch. The perfection talk is frustrating. See, that's a really good point, actually, because people who have gotten Jazzinc stuff before, this happens with Hot Toys too sometimes, but I've heard some of those QC issues with Jazzinc, and I know they get better and better with each progressive batch, it sounds like. But maybe Batman Collectible just got unlucky. Maybe he got a QC problem. Have you guys heard of anything like that with Jazz?
With the 66?
The only thing I've heard is that if there's an issue, they make it right. That's the only thing I know.
Right. So, but I have heard, Zach, I know you probably heard the 66, I think, had some problems, didn't it?
Yeah, I've heard people that had like paint, like orange peel in the paint or like dust in the paint, seen some striping issues. And those, like, I think generally speaking, the collectors that I've seen post about it said that Yoast was willing to make it right, but they were happy enough to keep, to live with what they had. But I don't know, for me at that kind of a price point, like I get that they're, small batch type things, but I don't know. I'm the kind of collector that if I'm buying like a Marvel Legends, like I want it to be perfect. Now, that's like a $20 figure, right? If I'm buying a Hot Toys, like I don't really settle for small imperfections. And so for me, if I'm spending that kind of money, like it would drive me up the wall. Like if there was an issue like that. So, but he makes great stuff. Some stuff that like the snow speeder, like we would never think would ever be in 6 scale. But I don't know. I think I will enjoy them from afar at the moment.
That's how I feel about it too, bro. Absolutely. We got Rockaman Chris. Thank you so much, Rockaman Chris. Appreciate you, bro. Very generous. I will quote Cat Williams. I got a Chrysler 300 because it looks like a Phantom until a Phantom pulls up next to you. I'm getting both just in case, and will sell the one I like the least. Hey, that's one way you could do it. I guess you could also just get the one that comes out first, and then you could see how you feel about it, and then decide after that. Because you might get the Jazz or the Hot Toys, and then be like, "Damn, I don't know why I would need any more than this." But you never know until you know, I guess. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. They're pretty expensive to buy both, Chris. But I trust you, man. Do whatever you think.